Everybody. Here we go as we answer all your garden questions right here on, let's call it, I used to call it Stay Grounded, but we can even call it Get Grown. We can call it, hey, let's just garden. Let's just talk about plants. Let's just have a little bit about fun. For those that don't know me, maybe joining for the first time, my name is Frank Ferragini, aka Frankie Flowers, 4-time best-selling garden author. I'm wild about weather. I do the forecast each and every day on breakfast television, Monday through Fridays, but I'm passionate about plants. And I'm here to kind of share my garden expertise as well to help you along the way. Just going to go here over to chats. And we're going a little bit earlier today. And the reason why I actually started this a little bit earlier is that I have to, after I'm done, head my way to Niagara-on-the-Lake, because we will be broadcasting live with breakfast television tomorrow from the Pillar and Post and all the vintage hotels. Paula Polly, good morning to you as well. Thanks for sending me the flowers there as well. We'll give Paula, look at this nice happy message that's just there. Good morning, Frankie. Good morning, Paula. So I'll be heading to the Vintage Hotel, so you'll see me there live. There's a fantastic garden that we'll be checking out as well. And we'll be in Niagara, which is a beautiful place where we'll probably be seeing some of the apple blossoms that are just finishing off right now, the peach trees as well. It's a fantastic time to be outdoors. It's been warm in Southern Ontario. As a matter of fact, we saw temperatures and humidex values into the 30s, and plants really just kind of popped and grew out. So that means allergies have been quite bad overall. So this is Similicin allergy eye relief. It's kind of a tongue twister, Similicin allergy eye relief. We talked about it last week. We talked also about the other utterly smooth hand creams. That prize pack went out to Kathy Wood from Hamilton, so congratulations to you. And just a reminder, with the allergy eye relief, there it is right there, that fantastic package. Look for that at your local Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart. That can help you through this time. And once again, it is Similicin. There you go, Similicin. Got it. Tongue twister. Good morning. Here we go. We got another good morning from Precious Corners, north of Coburg. Love the name of that. There we go. Another good morning as well. We have out there who's saying good morning from Precious Corners. We have that one. We have another good morning here as well from Dale. Dale, good morning to you as well. We have another good morning as well from Nancy. Good morning to you. We have a question that's here. Okay. This is from Merlio or Francella. Okay. Morning. I throw my used coffee grounds in my yard, but if I sprinkle coffee grounds around my tomato plants, will it cut down on the acidity? As a matter of fact, the coffee grounds will actually increase the acidity. There is slightly acidic coffee grounds are. If you were to put wood ash in your garden, that's more alkaline. So wood ash would actually reduce the acidity, whereas just a little bit of coffee grounds around your tomato plants do have a great benefit. That's a good question, by the way, too. Here's another good morning we have from Patricia Donahue. Good morning from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Good morning. We have some thunderstorms moving our way. Good morning as well from Port Colborne. So question I get asked a lot right now is we've been having this warm weather, and probably the number one question again this week was, can I go out there and plant? And if I look at the 7-day, if I look at the 10-day forecast, we have frost-free conditions in Southern Ontario, but the temperature can always alter in the month of May, even into the beginning of June. So yes, we can go plant. Yes, ground temperatures are warm enough now for even putting grass seed down. However, if the temperature does get cold and we do dip around that freezing mark, we may need to protect some of our plants. I would encourage you to still wait another week to 10 days to plant your peppers. I'd still encourage you to wait another week to 10 days to plant your squash plants and also to plant your beans. And if you're planting flowers, I would still be planting impatiens. I would still hold off on planting tuberous begonias. I would still hold off on planting Ipomoea, which is potato vine, just in case we do get those little bit of cooler conditions. Hey, we got another good morning here from the hub of the universe, Copetown. I love the hub of the Valerie. Good morning to you. Here we go. We got a question this morning. Good morning, Frankie. I have a question about Flowerbed. I'm made of cement. I want to plant flowers and plants some perennials, but I would like low and full flowers plants. What do you recommend? Okay, so if you're looking for trailing and or ground cover plants, but more trailing plants, if you're looking for something to go and flow over that planter, there's nothing that beats a wave petunia. And the purple wave is probably the best. Self-cleaning, very easy to grow. If you're looking for a perennial that will kind of trail, and really I need to know whether it's sun or shade. So for sun, a purple wave petunia. For shade, you may even do a perennial like a periwinkle, like Vinca minor, which could go over, or Lysimachia. which is something that could also go over the side as well. Lizamaki, also known as creeping Jenny, but the creeping Jenny, the gold variety of creeping Jenny is good. In a container, creeping Jenny, as a matter of fact, in the garden can become an invasive plant overall. So those are a few. If you're looking for fullness, if it's for shade, there's nothing like impatiens because they'll grow up and almost out as well. If you're looking for sun, the calliope geraniums, the calliopes actually grow up and out and over. They're very nice as well. But sun or shade is the key. And then you're looking for something to fill and spill. Perennial plants for sun that are really good as a filler overall. You can do some of your cone flowers. If you're a perennial plant that you're looking in that and it's shade, nothing like a hosta. So you could actually plant the hostas down the center. And then what you could do is plant impatiens as a border around. It'd look fantastic. Good morning from Stratford, Ontario. Good morning to you. Enjoy this part of my day. I enjoy you being here and sharing this part of my day with you too. Good morning, guys. I have a second year asparagus crowns. What should I know before I plant? So you're going to be planting those asparagus crowns in an area that's receiving sun. I always encourage you to plant with a little bit of manure that's in. Those crowns really won't be producing to the second and or third season, even though there may be a 2-year-old asparagus crown at this point. They still need a year of establishment. Once they start to pop up, they're going to grow that nice feathery leaf-like type plant. You're going to leave that on. That gives energy back to the root itself. Next season, I would encourage you not to be harvesting asparagus, but I would then harvest asparagus the following season. You want to put it in sand, not a well-drained soil. It can't be anywhere where water's sitting and or bogging down. If you do have a high water table, just kind of hill up to them a bit. So basically build a little bit of almost plant them a little higher, and then they'll do well overall. Here we go. With Tammy, what do you think is happening with all the bees dying? So we have had lots of reports about a lot of loss in beehives. And a lot of the loss in the beehives is what's called to the varroa mites. Varroa mites are something that go into the hive and then actually infect the hive and kill the hive off. A lot of beehives go under stress as well, because a lot of beehives are actually used and put in areas to propagate fields, and they're actually popped in and then moved out. And that can put a lot of stress on the beehives themselves and actually cause some colony collapse as well. We do have to take a look at what's happening and how to cure the varroa mites overall. There are many bee populations that are non-honeybees that are doing vibrant and doing well. And then winter seasons as well can have an impact on the hives, because the hives themselves actually need a source of sugar during the winter to feed, and they also need some insulation as well. And if we remind ourselves, last winter we had varying temperatures of warm to cold, warm to cold, warm to cold. That's not good on the hive overall. So I'm going to do some more research, but I've heard about the losses as well. And I know that I have a few friends that are fairly significant beekeepers, actually working on some technology right now to help the beehives out. I'm working with a company that is using something that's pretty cool, where the bees will fly through to maybe reduce the amount of pathogens that the bees have and actually see if we can fix up some things as well. So stay tuned. Good morning, Frankie. I have porcupines eating my young willows. Any suggestions on keeping them away? So your willows, fast-growing plants. So just a reminder, if you are growing a willow and or a willow tree, fast-growing, if you're growing a willow tree like a weeping willow, keep it away from your home or any big areas, because later on when that tree gets big, those branches break. To prevent that porcupine from going and eating, Animal Be Gone. Animal Be Gone is a product that you can buy at your garden center or at your home improvement store. You can buy it at a Home Depot, a Lowe's, a Canadian Tire, or you can go to your independent garden center. It leaves bitrix, a taste on that willow. So when the porcupine goes to eat, it'll give this better taste. And then the porcupine will just be like, that's bad tasting. So it'll move somewhere else. The reason why it's there, it's so soft and so nice. That's why it's enjoying eating that at this time. Good morning from Ottawa, the nation's capital. Good morning. How and when to prune bushes, prune burning bushes. So burning bushes are a variety of Euonymus salata. And they are a plant that could, number one, this time of the year, you can be doing a pruning of a third back, no problem whatsoever. You can be pruning any dead wood off at any time. When you go to shape that burning bush, I encourage you to prune out some of the center branches so that when you're shaping, you're just not making it so full that no light can get in. I encourage you to do that as well. But really, you can prune a burning bush at any time of the year because it's not a flowering bush overall. You can prune it now by a third. You can actually let it flush out again and then prune it by a third. The reason why I say no more than a third is it's not going to put it under stress. And in Ottawa, you're a warm day today. I wouldn't prune today. Later this week, we're going to cool that temperature down to around 15 to 19 degrees in the Ottawa Valley. So that's when I would prune, when it's a little bit more cooler, easier on the plant. Cindy says, good morning from the Sioux. Good morning to you as well. Ooh, really good coffee this morning. This one here, well, we already did the Ottawa one down there. We have another one. Boom. This is from Jenny Lynn. I have a wisteria. It's been planted for approximately 7 years, but doesn't get flowers on it. Is there a reason why? Yes, there is a reason why. First off, wisteria do need some time to establish themselves to bloom. Secondly, the wisteria, if it's actually been over-fertilized, like given too much fertilize, and we're allowing those side shoots that spin out to grow, what we're just going to do is push growth and not develop any of those blossoms. So those side shoots, as they're growing, you want to pinch them back. You also, if you want to take your spade, your sharp spade, and just go near the root zone, just a little bit further out, and just kind of cut the roots a little bit, that'll actually spark it up a bit as well. And then try to stress that wisteria a little bit out. So reduce the fertilization. And by stressing it and removing the side shoots, the sucker shoots, it'll actually put more energy to produce those blooms. And you're going to have a beautiful blooming wisteria. Zone hardiness is always important too. If it's marginally hardy for your area, let's say that you're in a zone 4, wisterias are going to struggle. They do okay in a zone 5. They do better in a zone 6. If you want to watch, if you go onto my Facebook page, you can go down. There's actually one of the videos on wisteria from the Royal Botanical Gardens. So check that out as well. So we have that question is done. Boom. We have another good morning this morning, and that is from Hamilton. Gilles, good morning to you. Here's another comment and or question. Dale, I put banana peels around my vegetables. It's proven to be a good idea. Yeah, the reason why it's proven to be a good idea is that banana is made of potassium. Potassium is fantastic for plants. So taking banana peels and working them in when you're planting your garden, or even working them into your compost and soil, increases the amount of potassium into that soil. And then potassium is beneficial for the overall health of a plant. So there you go. That is good overall. Here we go. Another good morning this morning. Is it too late to trim my butterfly bush? No, butterfly bush actually dies almost all the way down to the ground and then re-stems up. Butterfly bush blooms on new growth. So you can go ahead and prune your butterfly bush. I would actually encourage you to do so. Cut back any of that dead wood. You'll have those sprouts coming up from the bottom. You can even cut some of those sprouts as well. It'll be better overall, but it blooms on new wood. So butterfly bush, no worries about pruning it right now. Greetings from one of the beautiful places in the world. Sharon Lloyd sent me some pictures earlier on from the Okanagan Valley in BC. I hope you're enjoying your time there as well. Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Frank, I have 2 new flowers from my husband this week. I looked them up and it's red bromeliad and a pink calendula. Can I put these flowers outside or inside? Where do they like to stay and how much water? So during the summer months, both can go outdoors in part sun. Inside, they can stay indoors, and they are more of a potted indoor plant. And they can go in a west or south facing room that has a big window with bright light, but not directly in front of the window. How much water do they require? Depends on how much light they're receiving that week. If it's been a sunny week, they could be needing to be watered twice. If it's a cloudy week, they maybe only need once a watering or once every other week. So always before watering, test the soil. And both those plants, the calendula and the bromeliads, they both like to be dry before they're watered. So allow them to dry out in between waterings for sure. Here we go with another comment and or question from Marlene. I have a 35-year-old climbing rose bush. Amazing. Can I prune it now or should I wait till it finishes blooming? You can prune it now. You can prune out any black and or white stems that you see. Any of that overgrowth, you can do some selective pruning because you can actually see it overall. Any of the thicker canes, I would actually leave those thicker canes, but any thin side shoots that you're seeing develop, you can prune those out. So yes, indeed, you can do some maintenance pruning right now on that too. Mary Beth, good morning from Whitby as well. Good morning to you. Brenda, how's Brenda doing today? Good morning, Frankie. As I keep working on pulling weeds from my garden, I'm thinking of mulch. Good thought. There are so many varieties. Is there one you recommend, and when is the best time to put it on the gardens? So now is a perfect time to be mulching a garden. You weed the garden first, and then you mulch in behind. There's bark mulch, there's shredded mulch, there's rock mulch, there's rubber mulch, there's a bunch. Really, the rubber mulch and the rock mulch, those guys there will never break down, and they actually don't cool as much is what the other wood mulches will do. So the whole idea of mulch is we're actually using it to keep the roots of plants cool, to retain moisture, and to reduce watering. I tend to like the shredded mulches because they're very affordable. They break down. You do have to replenish them. The dyed mulches, they're great as well. And you don't have to worry about them causing any harm to your plants. I wouldn't put any dyed mulches, though, on anywhere where I'm growing food because I really don't know where the dyes has come from. But Scott's Miracle Grow, of course, has lots of mulches that you see available out there as well. And so really it's your personal preference, but a reminder, the rubber mulches and the rock mulches are not adding to the soil and they won't keep the soil cool. I hope that helped. This is for Diane. Diane, lovely here in Wasaga. It is. I like Wasaga. Oh, here's another question. How do I control periwinkle? Periwinkle, vinca minor, an excellent ground cover in shaded areas as long as it's kept maintained and contained. If you allow it to start to grow other areas, it'll keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. How do you control it? It's hand removal. And then also you can either put a nice edge around that garden that it's in, and that edge, if you continue to use that edge, that'll actually prevent it from growing into the lawn. Sometimes you can put an edger that's in, and then also many people want periwinkle. So if you have some friends that have some shaded gardens, tell them you have an abundance of periwinkle, you need to control it, and you can actually push it back. And then all those little divisions that you're going to have pulled out, you can give away to your friends and or you can sell them on Facebook. Good morning from Lyle this morning. Good morning to you as well. We have another question, I think. Virginia. Good morning, Frankie. Good morning, Virginia. I wonder, can I fertilize my cedar trees with sheep manure right now? You can. You can put it around the base, no problem whatsoever. I would encourage, even if you want those cedars to do very well, I would put some sheep manure down and then use a water-soluble evergreen food. The Miracle Grow evergreen food, very good. Even an all-purpose one is really good for you as well. That water-soluble, after a rain, use the water-soluble on those cedars and you'll see them pick up with the little bit of nutrient that's there from the sheep manure. Boom, they're going to do great overall. Here we go. Another good morning this morning. Good morning, Frankie. What steps do I need to take on soil that blight appeared and attacked my tomatoes? Do not plant tomatoes in that same space this year. If you had blight and you had issues with that soil, plant that somewhere else this season. So if you can plant the tomatoes other areas, and then right in that area, plant your lettuce greens this year, plant anything that not potatoes or tomatoes in that area. That's key. If by chance you don't have a lot of space, maybe plant some tomatoes this year in a pot, but really just leave this year. That's why we're doing what's called crop rotation. Crop rotation actually reduces and eliminates the disease. And if that blight's sitting there, cleaning it up is really key. You can add in a little bit of new soil, but there could still be some spores that are sitting there from last year. Okay, here we go. Another question we have. Good morning, Frankie. I have geraniums that have overwintered. Can I split the roots? No. Geraniums are grown by cuttings. If that root, if it's a mother plant, it could actually all be one root. So if we go to split the roots, we could actually be causing a lot of harm. I would want you to plant that there and then take cuttings off of it. If you see a natural division, if it's actually obvious where there's multiple plants and you can actually pull them apart, no problem. But splitting the roots at this time would cause that plant a ton amount of stress. So I wouldn't do it. Here we go. Another question we got. Joanna, you're an awesome weather guy. I try. Love the Spotlight TV team in Toronto. Awesome, guys. Thanks for that, by the way, as well. Joanna, I think Joanna's got a job up north. I think I saw that on Facebook. She's one that's actually heading her way up to CTV, and I'm thinking it's North Bay, Thunder Bay, something like that. Congrats, by the way. I did see that. Kaylee, Alexandra, how do I find out what kind of soil I have and how to fix it up to ensure my perennials will be nice and healthy? So one of the easiest soil tests that you can do is you can actually just take soil in your hand. And if you take that soil in your hand and we go to do this with that soil and it just falls right out of our hand, that's going to be a lot of sand that you have in there. If you go like this with that soil and you're able to do it, first, if you go to pick up your soil, it's like rock, that's a high percentage of clay. But if we do this with the soil, we can actually shape it into something that's a high percentage of clay. The texture soil we want is one that we actually, when we go to kind of mend it together, it actually binds together but breaks apart. That's the texture. The other thing that you can do is you can take a mason jar, and in that mason jar, you're going to fill it up with water. Go to the center of your garden, take a scoop of soil, put it in the water in the mason jar, put a little bit of dish soap within that water, shake that mason jar up with the lid closed, and then let it sit there for about 12 hours. What'll happen is you'll see the layers of sand, silt, and soil there. And that'll tell you a little bit about the composition of your soil. How do you fix it up and ensure to make sure that perennials are healthy? You add in better soil. And that's soil that's rich in organic matter. So you can see that there are some different garden soils that are out there, but generally a triple mix, which actually has sheep manure and or cow manure, some type of manure. It has a topsoil and a sandy loam within it. That's a great way to do it. There are some other organic mixes of soil. Even right now, Scott's Miracle-Gro has a full line of organic soils that you can see that are available out there. Or even you can go to your municipality when some of those days when they're giving soil out, you can get some of that good soil. But you want to improve the soil, and that's going to make the perennials healthy. And it's not that you're just doing it one time. Every year, even fall is some of the better times to improve the soil, because that's the time when the frost and thaws will work. So we're always working on our soil. We're always doing that. We're always trying to improve that soil. This is a question for Janice. Good morning from Oakville. Just a comment. Good morning, Janice in Oakville. I'll be driving through your way shortly because I'll be heading my way all the way to Niagara-on-the-Lake. Good morning. I had a lot of rabbit damage on my hydrangeas and cedar shrubs. Will they be okay? What to do next year? So first off, the hydrangeas should be fine. The cedars, it depends on how much damage you had. And even the hydrangeas, if they really bit into the center stems, that's the issue. Next year, what you can do is you can either put Animal Begone late season on both plants. That'll leave a residual taste. We can either do some fencing around those areas where they are to prevent that from happening. We can also try to put some different types of deterrents, even the plastic owl, place that up to deter. But a lot of the times it's really about trying to fence those bunnies away, because bunnies are at such a big population that's right now. Some type of barrier that you can put down to help them out as well. And sometimes that's really what's going to be necessary overall. So it's chicken wire. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Have you ever seen a white geranium? Yes. Like lots and lots and lots of white geraniums. If you're thinking about a white geranium in terms of its flower and foliage, there are geraniums that are variegated foliage where the foliage almost appears white. It's pretty cool. Those variegated are beautiful. And even when you have, I generally like the variegated geraniums with a red flower, not a variegated with a white, because white on white, you just don't see it. But yeah, I see white geraniums all the time. White geraniums are fantastic. Fantastic. Francesca, can you use a pine planter for a vegetable garden? Can you please let me know? Thank you. Yes, you can use a pine planter. It just depends on the type of water sealant used on that container. Do you know where that water sealants come? If it's a non-toxic water sealant, or if you're sealing that pine planter, make sure you use something that's food safe. And when you go to get a water sealant, when you go to your farm supply, your home hardware, your Canadian Tire, your Lowe's, your Home Depot, just ask for food safe sealants, and they do have them that are there. Here we go. Good morning from St. Thomas. Can I take a cutting from my neighbor's peony and transplant at this time of the year? You can take a division. So from a peony, you can actually, the eyes of the peony are just coming up. And if it's a big mound, you can actually lift that root up and take a section, like a section of the side shoots, and then plant it. Yes, indeed. Peonies, when you go to plant them, don't plant that division too deep, because if you do, you're only going to get foliage and no flowers. Peonies need to be planted a little higher, so you almost want to raise the soil up. And if you're having peonies that are in full sun and they're not blooming, sometimes it's because they've just been planted too deep. So that's the reason being. Good morning from Ancaster. A little shout out there to Janice. No, that was, sorry. Ancaster was Jane. Janice, here we go, has the question. There's Janice's question. Where is it there? Janice, rose bushes. Cut them right back? No. At this time of the year, what I would do is just cut any white or black stems that you see. Just cut any dead wood. And then if it's a huge rose bush, cut the overall size of that rose bush back by a third. That's it. Just keep it simple, and you won't cause any harm whatsoever. Good morning from Mississauga, says Marlene. Good morning to you as well. Here's another question that we have. What is the difference and benefits of cow versus sheep manure? Karen. So I actually wrote an article years ago for Canadian Living on manure. I know, I'm a cool guy. I write an article on manure. Yeah. And really, when you look at the nutritional benefits, if we look at the nutrients in any manure, they're very similar. So there's very little difference in all of them. Many old-time gardeners would prefer sheep manure over cow, and there was a reason being, is that cows don't really, when they digest their food, their internal soil, their internal temperatures and their acidity in their stomachs don't necessarily kill all the weed seeds that may come out of their butt. Whereas sheep have a more acidic type stomach, so that when they go to the bathroom, they actually have less weed seeds in the manure. Most bag manures, if you're buying bag manures, are sterilized, meaning that most of those weed seeds should already be killed. So they're very similar. Probably one of the highest nutrient fertilizers out there that's odorless is rabbit manure. Rabbit poo, the best poo. Worm castings, also out of this world, fantastic. Hello from Beaton, B-Town, not too far from me. Great show, great information shared. Follow up for you. I tried to winterize a few dipladenias, great, in the fall. It didn't work. It was a good experiment. Just picked up some more ones this year. Love them for full sun. The Rio dipladenias or dipladenias themselves, absolutely fantastic. The reason mostly why they don't overwinter well indoors is just too much water. Just really keep them dry. Keep them dry and they'll do really, really well. Jane Elizabeth is saying a little comment to help Brenda out, natural cedar mulch. There you go. It's the least expensive mulch that's out there too. Usually you're getting the best amount of benefit for your dollars out of that. Why does my forsythia not bloom a bright yellow? It blooms of a more darker green each spring. Is it in full sun? That's the first question. If you're pruning it in the fall, that could be one reason. Always prune after it blooms. So right now, if it's not in full sun and if it's not that big of a plant, you can move it to a full sun area. And now that the blooms have finished, prune now. Prune back by overall 1/3. So the only two reasons why it's probably not blooming, depends on the variety, but most of them should bloom nice, bright and yellow. But often the greeny color is because it's not receiving that full sun, which is that direct afternoon sun, anytime after 11 o'clock in the morning for at least 6 hours of duration. Wendy, Frankie, I had to dig tulips out because I'm moving. What do I replant them? Or how do I replant them? So you shouldn't have done that. You can pull your tulips and then you can just go replant them in a garden, but you want to do it immediately. Because what we want that to do is we want them to be planted so that the foliage on that tulip will be there. And that foliage will put energy back down into the bulb. If that foliage dies off and doesn't put any energy back into the bulb, that bulb will be starved and won't produce for next year. So plant them right away and keep the foliage on. You can remove the flowers, but keep the foliage on until it goes yellow. That is so key. Good morning, Marianne. Frankie, I always look forward to my Sunday mornings and learning about gardening with you and everyone who joins. Thank you. And thank you too. I actually really enjoy being here with you guys. And I always try to my best, by the way, too, to make sure that I'm here for you. Gail, Waterloo, Ontario. I'm taking a chance of planting flowers. I'm watching temperatures. I'm saving dry cleaner bags to cover them on cool nights. Just a reminder, those dry cleaner bags, fantastic. Just don't let the plastic touch the plant. Because if it does touch the plant and we have a cold night of frost, that will go right through the plastic and still hurt that plant. So always leave a buffer of air, really important for you, or use a bed sheet. Here we go, another question, replying. What do you recommend to get rid of carpenter bees? So carpenter bees, there are some different traps that are available, and then there are some of the jet sprays, but generally what you want to do is to find out the source where they're coming from, their nest, and control them that way. You can get a jet foam type of product to take care of them. If they're really bad overall, I would have somebody from a pest control company and you can't see where the source is come in because they can cause some significant damage. So I would be very, very careful as well. Here we go. Can I stop chipmunks from digging holes in my lawn? Chipmunks are digging for something. There's a food source that's there. Often when you apply the grub begone down, that will take care of. And once again, beetle begone is something that's going to be new this year as well. So the chipmunks generally don't go after grubs, but they can. Chipmunks as well could be just digging in there for looking for different things. You can put pelletized hen manure down, and that pelletized chicken manure often discourages them away from that area, and or blood meal. And sometimes even the animal begone can be sprayed in certain areas, but if they're only digging, not eating, then I would not use the animal begone for that purpose. Sally, Frank, I need your help. We are relandscaping. I have to move a rose sharon and a clematis. They're mature and just started to sprout and berry. Any tips? Thank you. So I would right now, if you're doing a relandscape, we're cooler this week. This is the time that I wouldn't do it today, but I would do it this week at some time. For the larger Rosa Sharon, just dig a trench around the outside of that root zone. So where those branches go, that's where the root zone is. So you dig a trench around, and then you try to dig underneath, and then you can actually get a bed sheet and or a tarp, slide, bend it over, slide it under, and then you can lift it, and then you can slide it into a pot, slide the tarp out, or just leave the tarp in. Same thing with the clematis as well, but you want to do it when temperatures are cool. If you need to move them for a period of time, put them into a corner where it's a little bit more part shade, hill them in with a lot of soil around them and keep them well watered, and cross your fingers, because mature plants run the risk of actually dying because they really don't like to be transplanted. Hey, guys, we're at a half hour, so I'm going to go because I have to go to Niagara-on-the-Lake. You'll see me there tomorrow morning live for breakfast television. I'm shooting this afternoon. I'll be shooting actually tomorrow afternoon because we'll be live with breakfast television from Niagara on Friday. It's a busy week, lots going on. I hope you guys had a great time. I hope I answered some questions. I hope we're motivated. I hope I inspired you. And get out there and garden. The reason being is gardening is better than therapy. The reason why at the end, you feel good and you get tomatoes. Boom. See you guys later. Ciao.